Hello everyone, I'm here with my next video on the chapter My Childhood by APJ Abdul Kalam. This is an extract from his autobiography Wings of Fire, and this video is for class 9. I have covered all the possible questions that can be formed here with the solutions. I hope this video is helpful for you. This is a picture of his autobiography, Wings of Fire. So let us start with the question and answers. Question 1. How does the author describe his father, his mother, and himself? So let us start with the description of his father. The author describes his father, Jainul Abdin, as a simple man who had neither much formal education nor wealth, but he had great wisdom and generosity. He was very large-hearted, considerate, honest and self-disciplined. He was also an austere man who believed in providing all necessities of food, medicine or shelter and did not spend on luxuries. He had the responsibility of carrying idols to Ram Tirtha for the Rama Sita Kalyanam ceremony. This is a picture of his family. Now let us read the description of the mother. The author describes his mother, Ashiyama, as kind and large-hearted. She used to feed many people every day. She had all the motherly qualities. She had faith in goodness. She became emotional when the author had to go to Ramanathapuram for further studies. Part 3. About himself, the author says that he was one of many children. He was a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. Theirs was a middle-class Tamil family in Rameswaram. Question 2. What characteristics does he say he inherited from his parents? The author inherited faith in kindness and deep goodness from his mother. He also inherited honesty and self-discipline from his father. His 3 brothers and sister also inherited these like him. Question 3. On the whole, the small society of Rameswaram was very rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups, says the author. Number 1. Which social groups does he mention? Were these groups easily identifiable, for example, by the way they dressed? The answer is, the author mentions social groups created by caste or community. These were the Hindu Brahmins and the Muslims. These were easily identifiable from the dresses. The Hindu Brahmins used to wear the sacred thread. The Muslims used to wear a cap which marked them as Muslims. Part 2. Were they aware only of their differences or did they also naturally share friendships and experiences? Think of the bedtime stories in Kalam's house of who his friends were and of what used to take place in the pond near his house. The answer is, they were aware only of their differences. They shared friendships and experiences, but in the author's house it was different. As the author says, his mother and grandmother used to tell the bedtime stories. These were of Ramayana and from the life of Prophet to them. His friends were the Hindu Brahmins. The author's family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site. It was situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha. Question 3. The author speaks both of people who were aware of the differences among them and those who tried to bridge these differences. Can you identify such people in the text? The answer is, the persons who were very aware of the differences among them were the new teacher at the Rameswaram Elementary School and the wife of Siva Subramanya Iyer, The persons who tried to bridge their differences were Lakshmana Sastri and Siva Subramanya Iyer. And here we can see the picture of the school at Rameswaram. Part 4. Narrate two incidents that show how differences can be created and also how they can be resolved. How can people change their attitudes? The answer is, the incident showing how differences can be created is the new teacher couldn't stomach that Abdul, a Muslim, sits by the side of the Hindu priest's son in the class. Lakshmana Sastri summoned the teacher and scolded him for sowing the seeds of communal difference and social inequality in the minds of small children. He was told to either apologize or leave Rameswaram. The teacher realized his mistake and reformed himself. Another incident is of Abdul's science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer. He brought round his wife to resolve this difference by inviting Abdul again to dinner. He also sat by his side to eat to resolve this difference. Question 4. Part 1. Why did Abdul Kalam want to leave Rameswaram? The answer is, Abdul Kalam wanted to leave Rameswaram to study further at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. Part 2. What did his father say to this? His father said that he knew he had to go away to grow. A seagull flies across the sun alone and without a nest. Part 3. What do you think his words mean? Why do you think he spoke those words? His words mean that sooner or later one has to leave one's parents. This is for living alone in this world and to grow and progress and live life independently. We can see a picture of a seagull flying towards the sun. Question 5. Kalam's childhood was a secure one both materially and emotionally. Illustrate. APJ Abdul Kalam called his childhood a secure one because he had loving and caring parents who gave love and guidance to their children and took care of their emotional and physical needs. They provided their children with all the necessities in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. Question 6. Briefly describe Abdul Kalam's ancestral house. Abdul Kalam's ancestral house was situated on the Mosque Street in Rameswaram. It was built in the middle of 19th century and was fairly a large pakka house made of limestone and brick. Here we can see a picture. The black and white picture is the house when Abdul Kalam ji was a child, and the other one is the same house renovated. Question 7. Who were Kalam's school friends? What did they become later? Kalam's three close childhood friends were Ramananda Sastri, Aravindan, and Siva Prakasan. All three of them settled well in life. Ramananda inherited priesthood of Rameswaram temple from his father. Aravindan took up the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Siva Prakasan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. Question 8. How did the Second World War give Abdul Kalam the opportunity to earn his first wages? The answer is, when stoppage of train was cancelled at Rameswaram because of World War II, Kalam's cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameswaram, asked him for help in collecting newspaper bundles which were thrown from the moving train. This helped Abdul Kalam earn his first wages. Now here on the right side is a picture with a little boy distributing newspapers. We are not sure whether this is a fake picture of Abdul Kalam or the real one. The second picture is just to show you the direction, the distance between Rameswaram railway junction and Dhanushkodi. Question 9. Had Kalam earned any money before that? In what way? The answer is, when the Second World War broke out in 1939, there was a sudden demand for tamarind seeds in the market. Kalam collected these seeds and sold them to earn an anna a day, which was a big amount for a small boy like him in those days. Abdul Kalam was only 8 years that we have read, and at that time he did this great job. Next question. What was Dina money? We can see the newspaper. This is a Tamil paper. Dinamani was the name of the newspaper. Kalam mentions that he gathered information about the World War from his brother-in-law Jalaluddin. Later, he tried to trace these stories in the headlines of Dinamani. Next question. Right from his childhood, Kalam was very enterprising. Comment. Kalam was an enterprising child who used to make full use of the opportunities that came his way. During the war, when there occurred a great demand for tamarind seeds in the market, he used to collect these seeds and sell them off to a provision store near his home and earn an anna a day. Thus, he was able to earn some money for himself. Later, he collected newspapers for his cousin, Samsuddin, and earned his first wages. These incidents show that he was very enterprising. Here's a picture of Abdul Kalam ji when he was the 11th president of our country in 2002. His tenure was from 2002 to 2007. Question 10. Despite their differences, the social groups shared friendships and experiences. Elaborate. The social groups shared friendships and experiences and lived in harmony. Kalam's mother and grandmother often told children of his family bedtime stories about the events from the Ramayana and from the life of Prophet. During the Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, his family used to arrange boats with special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site. When Ramananda Sastri's father heard that the new teacher tried to segregate pupils on the basis of religious divisions, he called the teacher and advised him to revert his decision or quit. Kalam's science teacher, Siva Subramanya Iyer, invited Kalam to have the meal with him a second time. This way, he changed his conservative wife's mindset. This is the Rameswaram temple, and this is a picture of Rama Sita Kalyanam, where the marriage of Ram and Sita takes place. Next question. Who asked Kalam to sit on the backbench of his class and why? The answer is, a new teacher at Rameswaram Elementary School could not tolerate that Kalam, a Muslim, sat with Ramananda Sastri, a Hindu, wearing the sacred thread. This was contrary to the teacher's notion of social ranking, so he ordered Kalam to sit on the backbench. Question 12. Do you think the teacher at Rameswaram Elementary School deserved the treatment meted out to him by Lakshmana Sastri? Yes, the teacher deserved the treatment meted out to him by Lakshmana Sastri. He was spreading the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. Spreading such divisive tendencies is a serious crime. If a teacher indulges in such damaging acts, he deserves no sympathy. Question 13. What was the difference in the attitudes of science teacher and his wife towards APJ Abdul Kalam? Though the science teacher was a Brahmin, he broke the social barriers and mixed with people belonging to different religion and community. He invited Abdul home and served him his meal and even sat and ate with him. On the contrary, his wife at first was conservative and refused to serve Abdul in her kitchen. However, by the next time, she was also transformed and served Abdul Kalam herself. Question 14. Siva Subramanya Iyer was something of a rebel. Elaborate. The answer is Siva Subramanya Iyer was Kalam's science teacher. Though he was a Brahmin, he was something of a rebel. A man of liberal views, he wanted to change the society that was rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups. He invited Kalam to his home for a meal. His wife, an orthodox conservative Brahmin, refused to serve food to a Muslim boy in her so-called ritually pure kitchen. Siva Subramanya probably expected such a behavior from his conservative wife. So without getting angry or perturbed, he served Kalam with his own hands and sat beside him to eat his meal. He invited Kalam to dinner again the following weekend. He also told Kalam, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. This way, indirectly, he convinced his wife to rise above these narrow barriers and thus was successful in changing the conservative attitude of his wife. Abdul Kalam ji is also known as the Missile Man of India. Question 15. How did the Indians feel when the nation's independence was in full sight? The answer is Indians were filled with unprecedented optimism when Second World War ended. India's independence seemed imminent. Gandhiji declared that Indians would build their own India. Question 16. What did Kalam's father mean to say when he quoted Khalil Gibran? Why do you think he spoke these words? Kalam's father meant that every human being must be given the opportunity to build his life as per his wishes and parents should not hinder this effort. He spoke these words to convince Kalam's mother that her son's decision to leave home was right. She should allow him to happily go and shape his life according to his own ideas. I also got an opportunity to take some students of my school to the Knowledge Symposium where the main speaker and the chairperson was Abdul Kalam ji. We have a picture here attending the symposium. It was the Ayurveda Knowledge Symposium, and this was based on the challenges of the climate change. Great opportunity to have heard him face to face. I hope this video was helpful to you. Do comment, like, share, and if you are a newcomer, please subscribe my channel. Take good care of yourself. Bye.